I will say one time in China I was arrested. So they thought I was a spy on the Tibetan border, and like literally in the middle of China, and I ended up in like a lockup in China for a little while. And that's probably a story for another potty, but
No. It's a story for right now. You don't get to move on to that here, mate.
Drop that on
You
us.
can't just be dropping, I spent a bit of time locked up in China. We'll speak later about that.
So basically, what happened, right? I was riding from central China down into Laos, and like I was alone, but I was like close to the Tibetan border. And in China, every night when you check into a hotel, they basically like keep a track of your passport, where you've been. They keep a track of where you're at as a foreigner. And I arrived in this one town. I forget the name of it now. But it was like an ancient city, and so I'd arrived there quite early. I'd got up early and I'd ridden there, and I wanted to go and have a bit of a look around. And when I got there, the lady at the hotel was like, she knew I was coming even though I hadn't booked, and she said, "Oh, we're going to take you down to the police station because you've got to check in." And like, you got to imagine this is all done on translation. It's like I'm not talking Chinese, I'm talking English, so it's all a bit broken. So I've gone down to the local police station, and they've got me, and they've sort of grabbed me, and I'm wearing like a Nike singlet and a little pair of running shorts because that's the only clothes that I take when I'm doing like a multi-day trip. I'm bare bones, and they've put me into a little cell, and sort of jabbering to me in Chinese, and I'm obviously not understanding. And because I'm in this little concrete sort of room, my phone's not working, so I've got no reception. I can't translate anything. And I was really lucky because the police chief, his wife, happened to be an English teacher at a school nearby. And so he got her on the phone, on his phone, and she was asking me, like, "What are you doing here? You know you've got the camera." Like, and I was like, "I'm literally just riding from central China to Laos. I'm here, like, just it's essentially a holiday. I'm not working. I'm not doing anything dodgy." And eventually they let me off. And so I'd been interrogated for a couple of hours there. And I think the chief of police felt bad, right? And so as I got out of the cell, he's written to me on his phone. I've written to him first. I said, like, "Where can I get food? Because at this stage I'm starving." And he's written back to his phone, like, "Would you like to join me for dinner?" And I was like, he's just arrested me. Now he's invited me for dinner. So this is where the story gets like super crazy. So I said, okay, when in Rome, when in China. So I'm sitting in the police station, and this has all happened quite quickly. It's the end of the day. A 4-wheel drive's rocked up right out the front. He sort of signalled for me to go and jump in the back seat. And I get in the back seat, and I'm the only one in there. And there's these 2 boxes, right? So like the boxes are sort of yay big, and they're wrapped heavily in tape. And suddenly, like, my mind just, like, my stomach started to sink. I was like, all right, so they've not been able to get me on, like, a spy charge. They're going to try and dupe me up here as, like, a drug trafficker. So, like, we're literally hammering around the back streets of China in the city, and I'm like, fuck, what's going on here? And we get down this little alleyway, and, like, the car stops, and there's this little red door. I can still picture it. And he like signals for me to get out of the car and like to grab the packets. And I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm touching those packets because I don't want my fingerprints on them. Like, I'd already like done the full CSI scan of the situation. And anyway, so I like opened the door for him to like get the stuff out of the car and go upstairs. So he's grabbed them, gone upstairs. We've walked up the stairs, and at the top there's like this group of people sitting around a table eating dinner. I was like, this is weird. Anyway, he started ripping open the boxes, and I'm like, fuck, I'm waiting for everything just to go everywhere. And he's pulled out 2 6-packs of Belgian beers.
Oh.
And he's written into his app, in China we prefer the Belgian beers to the Chinese beers. So we ended up having dinner and going to karaoke together.
Oh, that is epic.
That's good.
It was such a loose story.
Tell me your best mates with the Chinese chief of police now.
Yeah, I did. I had him as a contact save, but I've lost him. I've like tried to find him so many times. I don't have him in there.
Oh, that is an epic story.
That was just a little teaser of our full episode. They're out Wednesdays on YouTube, and you can listen to them wherever you get your podcast. Go on, get out of here.